Hello, I hope everyone's doing well. Today we're going to talk about the 7 most informative sections of the Texas Crash Officers Police Report, or Accident Report, or also called CR3. I don't know if you've ever looked at a crash report following a car accident. I've been looking at them for about 20 years now, but the first several times I looked at one, I was very confused as to the information provided in each section, especially when codes were written but no description as to what those codes meant. So hopefully this video will help you understand the 7 most informative sections of the Texas Crash Officer Peace Report or Accident Report. The first most informative section of the Texas Peace Officers Crash Report or Accident Report is called Identification and Location. And basically this tells you the date and the time, the county, and the city if the crash or accident occurred within the city limits. It tells you the street, the name and the number, and if it was near an intersection, it also tells you the name of the intersecting street or the intersecting street that was close. These are all really helpful pieces of information when you're actually trying to get a copy of your accident report to help the records personnel in the police department locate the report. This information is very helpful. The second most informative section of the Texas Crash Officers Peace Report is called Vehicles, Drivers, and Persons. And again, it's somewhat self-explanatory, and then it describes the vehicles involved, and there are actually 2, if there's 2 vehicles, or 3 or 4 or 5, however many there are at least 2 sections, but every vehicle will have its own section. And it describes the vehicle, make, model, year, color, has the VIN number, the license plate number. It also gives the name and address of the driver and the name and address of the owner if that's different from the driver. And this is very important if you're in a car accident and you have severe injuries or extreme damages. There could be potential for 2 policies if the driver and owner each had separate policies. The third most informative section of the Texas Peace Officers Crash Report or Accident Report is called Persons Injured or Killed. And this is actually at the top of the second page, page 2 of the accident report typically. And what it lists here that's helpful is if anyone involved was transported via ambulance to a hospital, this section lists not only the name of the ambulance service, but also the hospital that they were transported to. Sometimes if you have health insurance, you don't receive bills from providers, specifically ambulance carriers. So it is helpful to find that information on the police report in case you do need to get a copy of that bill. The fourth informative section of the Texas Crash Officers Peace Report or Accident Report is called Charges. And here you're going to find if any citations were issued by the officer. One that you might see, hopefully not, but you could see what's called failure to maintain financial responsibility. And this basically means that one of the drivers was not able to provide liability information to the investigating officer, so that it seems at that point that they would have no coverage. Also, you'll see there some charges possibly indicating negligence on behalf of one or both drivers. If you see a citation for driver inattention or faulty evasive action or failed to maintain a safe distance or speeding, all of those are factors that you'll want to be able to tell if you call a personal injury attorney for a consultation. You'll be able to want to tell them or their staff what factors, or what citations were issued in the collision. Section number 5 is called Factors and Conditions, and I would argue this is potentially one of the most confusing sections, because here you'll see the officer places numbers in the box for each driver, possibly, or maybe just for one driver, depending on who he felt was at fault. And these numbers typically have no explanation on the crash report. So before this section of the video, I did include a breakdown of what each of these numbers mean. For example, if 20 is one of your contributing factors, I believe that means driver inattention. So it's, again, a little bit confusing to have that code on there without an explanation of what the code means. So I included that in this video. Section 6 is called narrative and diagram. And here, the investigating officer gives a verbal description or a written description of what happened in the collision. Also here, the officer draws a picture. That would be what the scene diagram is. And you also want to look at that picture and make sure that you've read where the officer noted what direction, who was traveling, or what direction the scene is being drawn in case that could be confusing for you. Also, some helpful information you may find in there would be witness phone numbers or witness statements in case you needed to follow up with them and get additional information if you were to be dealing with an adjuster following a car accident. Number 7 is called Investigator. And again, this is going to be on page 2 at the very bottom. Here you'll find the name, badge number, and investigating agency of the officer who investigated the collision. So in case for some reason you need to speak directly to that officer, or maybe an adjuster wants to speak to that officer, you can point out that information or get that information there on the bottom of the police report. So again, these are the 7 most informative sections of the Texas Crash Officers Peace Report or Accident Report. I hope you found these to be helpful. I know that when I first looked at my police report, or first time I looked at a police report, if I'd had this breakdown, it would have helped me. Stay safe. Thank you.